Sony is taking on the AirPods with its latest pair of noise-cancelling wireless earbuds.
This is Apple AirPods versus Sony WF-1000XM3. Three.
We're here at the beautiful Everdeen rooftop at the Virgin Hotel in San Francisco, and what better place than this to test out some wireless earbuds, huh?
Because we're obviously going to be throwing them down to see which one survives the 12 floors that we're on right now.
Yeah, that's the next video, so stay tuned for that one.
Well, first things first, let's get something out of the way, Lexi. Obviously, we're very well aware that these are two different beasts. First off, just in terms of price range, the AirPods here are $159, while the Sony earbuds are $229. So just that is a huge difference. But also in terms of specs, it would seem that it's a no-brainer that the Sonys would win, but it's not necessarily the case.
Well, let's dive into it. Let's start with design and the most obvious differences between them externally. The AirPods sit in your ear, whereas the Sonys have selectable tips that you can swap in depending on the size of your ear. So that creates an extra seal, a little bit of more security perhaps. A lot of people, maybe the AirPods just won't work for you just because you have an ear where they'll fall out if you're doing something active. I know Sony is very, very generous with what they do give in the box, but I still felt like I was kind of between sizes.
So what ended up working for me was that, and something that Sony suggested, was using a different size tip on one ear canal and a different size tip on the other, because apparently your ear canals are different. And that ended up, it didn't make a perfect fit for me, but it definitely helped. It's still a lot of work that makes me like the AirPods and the simplicity of just sticking them in my ear. That said, I'm obviously one of the lucky ones that they fit.
Something where you need a really good fit is working out, but I did run with them and they were fine.
I ran with them as well, and it seemed like they didn't fall out, but they were heavier, so I was much more aware of them than I was with the AirPods.
I really like the design of the Sony case. I think it looks very premium compared to the AirPods, and I love the two color finishes, that black and that taupe.
For sure. I mean, the only thing is to consider that if you are going to be putting it in your pocket, it is going to have a bigger bulk, and it's almost, I would say, more than twice the size of the AirPod case.
Okay, let's talk call and sound quality, because to me this is really the most important part of any headphone, any earbud. And straight off the bat, the Sonys absolutely blow the AirPods out of the water. Like Vanessa, there's no competition here. If you're an audiophile, you're gonna want to go for these. The active noise cancellation is fantastic. Overall, just like the sound on the default sound profile is super clear. And the app that you can download to go with it on iOS or Android, so you get a full equalizer control. I love that. And also you get the ability to adjust the ambient sound control. So if you want to have more external noise come in rather than having pure noise cancellation, you can adjust that, or have the automatic selection choose it for you depending on where you are.
I'm not even a sound expert like you are, Lexi, and it was obvious from the get-go for me which one was the clear winner for sound quality. I didn't know how bad the AirPod sound quality was until I listened to them both back to back. So I would totally agree with you on that note. And as you said, it's really nice to be able to turn off the noise cancellation, because there are times where you want to listen to your surroundings, and it's a huge difference when you turn it off and you turn it on the app. It's nice that it detects it automatically. It didn't always do it for me, especially sitting down in the office. It lets in too much ambient noise, so I would have to manually put it on transportation mode. Where it's not so clear-cut though is when it comes to call quality. I tested both out, and obviously sound when you're listening into a conversation is better on the Sony because of what we just discussed. However, on the receiving end, so basically the microphone, there was not much of a difference between the AirPods and the Sony earbuds, and the sound was not great coming from the microphone on either one of them.
You can use both of these earbuds on iOS and Android, but your ecosystem will really, I guess, determine how easy it is to connect. With the Sonys, you have NFC, tap to pair, which I love on Android. So you just hold them against the back of the phone and they pair instantly. But on iOS, for the AirPods, you just flip open the case and they'll instantly connect too. Obviously, you can use one with a different ecosystem. You just have to pair through the settings menu through the Bluetooth.
And that said, like once I did pair the Sonys with an iPhone, it was pretty seamless thereafter. It was just kind of the initial setup that was a little bit more clunky than doing it straight from the AirPods. The other thing though that you won't be able to do though if you have AirPods and you're using them with an Android phone is customize the controls. You can only customize them from the settings of an iPhone, whereas the Sony earbuds allow you to download the app and customize from any phone, including an iPhone.
So the AirPods have a Hey Siri functionality, so you can just talk to your assistant. The Sonys you do need to press to activate the Google Assistant.
I'm gonna go with Siri on this one, only because it's hands-free, and one of the things that I'm lacking most on both of these are volume controls.
Yeah.
So I really miss that, and it's something that I love about the Powerbeats is just to be able to manually control the volume, and just, I mean, it's one of the things that I use Siri for, so it's nice not to have to tap or do anything and just summon her and turn off the volume or whatever. I'm already pissed off at both of them for not having volume control to begin with, so it's just kind of the lesser of two evils for that reason.
When it comes to performance, both of these earbuds are Bluetooth 5.0, and the AirPods use the H1 chip, whereas the Sonys use Sony's Q1NE or QN1E.
It doesn't matter. This thing about Sony's naming, it's so hard to remember. Don't even get me started. I feel like Apple does a great job at catchy names, so AirPods, easy to remember. You know what these are called? These are called the Sony WF-1000XM3.
1000?
Sure.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't care because I'm not going to remember this. Are you going to remember this?
No.
We keep calling them the Sonys because that's not acceptable as a name. I'm sorry.
I think the AirPods have a little bit better connectivity overall with iOS. I experienced fewer dropouts all up. And there was just a couple times when I was listening to the Sonys when they were doing a little bit of stuttering, but then I did a software update because they automatically keep releasing new updates, and they improved so much over the couple weeks that I was testing. So
you're calling them the Sonys too.
Yeah, well they are the Sonys. I'm not going to say the WF-1000XM3. So both Sony and Apple say you'll get around 24 hours of total charge on the cases, and then the buds themselves, you'll get 5 hours listening time on the AirPods and 6 on the Sonys with noise cancelling and at a moderate volume. I found that actually held pretty true. The AirPods though, 5 hours on the dot, nothing more I could squeeze out of them, and the Sonys were pretty good around that 6 hour mark.
Yeah, I noticed that the Sonys had more juice at the end of a week than the AirPods. I had to charge the AirPods after 3 days of my use, so I don't use them quite as much as you do maybe. Whereas the Sony earbuds, they lasted almost 5 days. So I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if they were just better at turning off when I wasn't using them or at conserving battery or what, because as you say, on paper they're supposed to last the same, but I definitely got more out of the Sonys. All right, Lexi, it is crunch time. I'm gonna turn to you and pretend like I don't know which ones you're gonna choose and ask which ones were your winners.
Is it that obvious? It's the Sony WF-1000XM3. Wish they had a catchy name, but regardless, I love the noise cancellation. The sound quality is off the charts, and they feel such like premium earbuds for the money compared to the AirPods.
I gotta say, I'm truly shocked by your decision.
So
and I'm just gonna disagree with you just for the sake of disagreeing. I mean, if money weren't an issue, I would agree, and obviously the sound quality is amazing on those. But if you factor everything in, price included, I'll go for the AirPods. Just, yes, because of the price. They're also lighter. I don't have to worry about the tips falling out in my ears, and the case is a lot smaller and a lot more portable.
Well, what do you think? Let us know if the Sonys or the AirPods won this comparison. Big thank you to the Everdeen Rooftop here at the Virgin Hotel in San Francisco, and let us know what you want us to compare next on Versus.
WF-1000XM3R. XM3R. It's gonna take us a
no,
minute.
the R is right.
Oh! Sorry. It's okay. You're good. Oh my gosh. It's okay. We are dropping that